Detective Devin Geiger, Wyandotte Police Department.
All right, please raise your right hand, Detective. You solemnly swear from the testimony about to give this matter to the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
All right, thank you. And you may proceed on the warrant.
October 30th, 2023, approximately 2:15 in the morning, Officer Adam Grote observed a silver Chevy Equinox traveling at a high rate of speed near the area of Goddard Road in Lincoln. He observed the vehicle slightly yield near 4th Street before crossing the center line indicator in the opposite lane of traffic. Vehicle abruptly traveled over the railroad tracks, and the officer attempted to catch up to the vehicle to effect a traffic stop. As he was getting closer to the vehicle, he observed the vehicle recklessly turned onto 2nd Street. He continued to pursue after the vehicle, which appeared to be traveling at speeds well over 25 miles per hour. As he gained distance onto the vehicle aggressively accelerated through a stop sign and turned onto Balmy Street, where he eventually effected a traffic stop where the vehicle slow rolled for a moment. Contact was made with the occupants in the vehicle. The operator, identified as John Joseph McLaughlin, exhibited signs of being under the influence of alcohol, was detected, observed, open in plain view. Officers observed Michelob Ultra 12-ounce beer cans in the center console next to Mr. McLaughlin and the front seat passenger, as well as another bottle on a floorboard next to another passenger. Field sobrieties, Mr. McLaughlin exited the vehicle abruptly as well. The officers gave a pat down with consent to Mr. McLaughlin, and field sobrieties were provided or asked. Several indications were given through those sobriety tests where he failed. He was asked to do a PBT, which resulted in a .14. Later on, he was taken into custody and was taken to the police department where he was read his chemical test rights. He consented, providing 2 tests, one a .16 and a .15. During search of the vehicle, a firearm was located on the floorboard, a Taurus G3C 9mm handgun with 13 hollow point rounds, one in the chamber. That was underneath the front passenger seat, which was in access to both Mr. McLaughlin and the passenger. Mr. McLaughlin admitted that that was his weapon. The weapon is registered to him. And that's it, Your Honor.
All right, upon examination of a complaining witness, I find the offense charges committed, and there's probable cause to believe the defendant committed the offenses. And Mr. Gopa, your appearance, please.
Thank you, John Gopa, P3075A on behalf of Mr. McLaughlin. Mr. McLaughlin, would you please put your name on the record?
John Joseph McLaughlin.
All right, and counsel, as to the arraignment.
Your Honor, I met with Mr. McLaughlin and I advised him of his constitutional rights, of course, and I also advised him of the charges and potential penalties that are being brought at this point in time. Knowing all of that, Your Honor, he would waive a formal reading of the charges, ask for a plea of not guilty to be entered, and proceed to these proceedings. Stand mute, ask for a plea of not guilty.
The court will waive the formal reading. Sir, you do have the right to have an attorney. If you cannot afford one, the court will appoint one to represent you. And in fact, you've had an opportunity to speak to an attorney today, correct?
Correct.
I didn't hear that.
Yes.
Okay. You also have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to have a trial by a judge or by a jury, and you also have the right to remain silent. Anything you say orally or in writing may be used against you in court. Do you understand those rights?
Yes.
The court is going to enter a plea of not guilty on your behalf. The court has also signed the petition order for court appointed attorney for felony matters. Schedule this matter for probable cause conference on November 9th at 9:10 a.m. And counsel as to bond.
Your Honor, Mr. McLaughlin has no prior felony record. He does have a drinking and driving case back from 2006. He was the rightful owner of this vehicle, but he's also the rightful owner of the handgun in question. It is registered to him. He did have a CCW, however, he allowed that to lapse. Understanding all of that, Your Honor, he's employed. In fact, he's been a resident of Wyandotte for approximately 3 years. He has 2 children with his fiancee, Tiffany, who was the individual in the car. They plan on getting married shortly, though they're different residents at this time. He was employed at a auto as a manager. He just left that job for a better position, and he will be starting at Taylor Ford in the parts department approximately 1 week. He understands all of that. He has no, as I've indicated, no prior felony convictions. And Your Honor, he is not on probation, he's not on parole, and he is not having any other outstanding warrants that he's aware of. Saying all of that, Your Honor, we're asking for a reasonable bond. And you know the options that he has to take care of. We would think that a personal bond in this matter would be, he has ties to the community, he has work, he has a personal bond along with any type of alcohol tether because of drinking and driving.
All right, thank you. And sir, you successfully, let's see, I show that you have 2 prior convictions. One 2001 for operating while visibly impaired, as your attorney indicated. And you successfully completed your 12 months probation.
Yes.
And then you have a matter from this court, May of 22, regarding cruelty to animals.
Yes, Your Honor, it's my understanding that he, we spoke about that. He took his animal to the animal shelter and it died. Those were the circumstances and he was charged. That's the way he told me. And he successfully completed it.
Okay. All right, detective, as to bond.
Not to operate a motor vehicle under any influence of alcohol, no illegal drugs, no drugs unless they're prescribed, not to enter any bars, not to have any alcohol. Just assure his presence in court, $500. And no access to weapons until his case is adjudicated.
Sir, do you have any other weapons at your home?
Oh, no, ma'am.
Just the one weapon that was, that's the subject of this matter?
Correct.
And who lives at the home with you?
Me, my fiance, and my 2 children.
I misspoke. I thought that he told me they do not live together at this time, but they do. I apologize.
Okay.
The children in question that night were not in the car. They were at, I think his mother and grandmother.
Okay. And sir, you were employed. When's the last time that you were working?
Last week. Last week, I'm supposed to start at Taylor Ford this week. It's basically taking advancement on a new job, a better opportunity.
Okay. Your client's license is valid, counsel?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
All right. The court is going to find the bond request is appropriate. The court's going to ensure Mr. McLaughlin's presence in court and to ensure his compliance to the court's bond conditions. The court's going to order a $5,000, 10% bond. And for the safety of the public as well. You're not to have any access to any firearms or ammunition. You're not to possess or consume any alcohol or drugs unless prescribed. If there's a restaurant that happens to serve alcohol, that wouldn't really qualify. But if it's mainly a bar that serves food, that would qualify. All right, anything else, counsel?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Anything else, detective?
No, Your Honor.
All right, and Mr. McLaughlin, you're not out on bond in any other jurisdiction, are you?
Ma'am.
All right. All right, thank you. We'll see you back on November 9th. And Mr. Mitchell, your name, please. Mr. Mitchell, your name, please, for the record.
James Arthur Mitchell for the record, Your Honor.
Thank you. So there's 2 matters today. First matter, Mr. Mitchell, was September 12th. And that was a failed display of valid license. And then there's also September 15th, careless driving, no valid operator's license, resisting, obstructing. And if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Mitchell was just here last week on a felony matter, and he waived his exam and was bound over, if I recall correctly. And so, counsel, you were able to today's date schedule for pretrial these matters.
Yes, Your Honor. We solidified the 23-2063 is being dismissed. The global resolution, my client to be tendering a guilty plea to a disorderly person and then responsible for careless driving.
Okay, Mr. Mitchell, please raise your right hand. You solemnly swear from the testimony you're about to give this matter the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Mr. Mitchell?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, and so you heard your attorney, what your attorney stated regarding the plea, correct?
Yes.
As to the amended charge of disorderly conduct, how do you plead?
Yeah, guilty as charged, I guess.
Well, no, it's an amended charge, sir, and I want you to guess. I need you to make sure that you're certain. To the amended charge of disorderly conduct, how do you plead?
A disorderly person,
Okay, so are you pleading guilty or not guilty?
not guilty.
You worked out a plea agreement in which you're tendering a guilty plea to a lesser included charge in exchange for the plea of dismissal of the original three. So if you want to avail yourself of that plea, you would be pleading guilty.
Guilty. Guilty, Your Honor.
Okay. And you've gone over your advice of rights with your attorney, correct?
Yeah.
Yes? Is that yes?
I think so, yes.
Okay. And you understand all of those pleas, or all of those rights?
I think so, Your Honor.
Okay, is there anything that you think that you don't understand?
Not at this point, I don't. No, I've been sick.
Okay. All right. And you understand by entering into a plea, you'll be waiving some of those rights, specifically your trial and appellate rights.
I understand, Your Honor.
Okay. You also understand the possible penalty as a result of your plea, whether in this court, any other court, or administrative agency. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any immigration issues?
No, Your Honor.
All right. And so, sir, knowing all that, you still want to continue with your plea?
Yes.
Has anybody promised you anything, threatened you, or coerced you in any way for you to enter into a plea?
No, ma'am. No, Your Honor.
All right, counsel, if you can please go to your client.
Yes, I'd like to direct your attention back to September 15, 2023. Were you in the city in Wyandotte?
Yes, yes.
And would you agree that at some point you raised your voice or acted in a behavior that was disorderly and could affect the peace and quiet of people around you?
I don't recall.
Right. Would you stipulate in the plea that we're working out that your behavior on the date of September 15th of 2023 was disorderly and you were arrested and taken into custody based on that behavior? Is that accurate, sir? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Satisfied, Your Honor.
All right, the court is also satisfied the plea is knowing, voluntary, and factually accurate. And sir, as to the careless driving, how do you plead, responsible or not responsible?
Responsible.
All right. The court will accept your plea to the careless driving, and as well as to the amended charge of disorderly conduct, dismiss the no operator's license and the resisting obstructing an officer per the plea agreement. We'll schedule this matter for sentencing on November 13th at 9:15 a.m. And sir, I'm presuming that probation is going to be calling in tomorrow morning at 8:45 to handle your PSI.
Okay, where's that gonna be? I didn't catch that, Your Honor. Could you repeat that?
You're going to have a phone call tomorrow morning at 8:45 from probation so they can conduct your pre-sentence interview, okay?
Okay, okay, thanks, Your Honor.
In Your Honor, I'd ask that my client's potentially his file be marked medical. He indicates that he is suffering from a hernia and he would like some additional medical treatment.
All right, the court will indicate bonding conditions are continued. I'll show rainbows 232018. And counsel,
Your Honor, for the record, John Goldberg, P 30758 on behalf of Mr. Ramos. Mr. Ramos, please put your name on the record.
Joshua Ramos.
All right, thank you. And today's the date scheduled for arraignment pretrial on this matter. And as to the arraignment,
Your Honor, he would stand mute to the charge, waive a formal reading of that charge, and ask the plea of not guilty.
the court waived the formal reading, answer plea of not guilty for purposes of the arraignment and as to the pretrial counsel.
Your Honor, I've had an opportunity to discuss this matter with both Mr. Ramos as well as with the city attorney. It's my understanding that in return for a plea of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive, the original charge of no operator's license on possession or failing to display would be dismissed. I've explained to Mr. Ramos his rights. Also explained any administrative problems that he may have because of entering into this plea. Understanding all of that, Your Honor, he wishes to avail himself of this opportunity.
All right, sir, please raise your right hand. You solemnly swear from the testimony about to give this matter the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and you heard the plea that your attorney placed on the record, correct?
Yes.
And as to the amended charge of allowing a licensed driver to drive, how do you plead? I need you to speak up.
Guilty?
Thank you. And you've gone over your advice and rights with your attorney, correct?
Yes.
And as to those rights, you understand all of those rights, correct?
Yes.
You also understand by entering the plea, you'll be waiving some of those rights, specifically your trial and appellate rights.
Yes.
And you understand the possible penalty as a result of your plea, correct?
Yes.
Whether in this court, any other court, or administrative agency.
Yes.
And knowing all that, you still want to continue with your plea.
Yes.
Any immigration issues?
No, Your Honor.
And has anybody promised you anything, threatened you, or coerced you in any way for you to enter into a plea?
No.
All right, counsel, if you can please ready your client.
Thank you. Mr. Ramos, back on August 20th of 2023, were you operating a motor vehicle in the city of Wyandotte?
Yes.
And at the time that you were operating that motor vehicle, did you come in contact with the Wyandotte Police Department?
Yes.
And when they asked you to provide you with a valid or proper driver's license, you were unable to do so. Is that correct?
Yes.
You knew you did not have a valid operator's license, but you allowed yourself to drive. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's a satisfied trial.
The court is also satisfied the plea is knowing, voluntary, and factually accurate. And counsel as to, and sorry, will accept the plea of the amended charges from the original charge for the plea agreement. And counsel, that's a sentencing.
We ask for immediate sentencing in this case, Your Honor. He is taking steps to get his license. He's been saving some money. In fact, he started that process and then something came up. He didn't have the money. So hence, unfortunately, he continued to operate the smaller vehicle. Now we've got to pay more money to another individual. He's not employed at this time. He was working in Evans, as a box cutter, a box.
Evans distributing, okay.
Yeah. And he's been unemployed approximately 2 months, you indicated?
Yes.
He's out looking for work. He lives with his aunt in Newport, excuse me, not Newport. Today he stayed with another relative in Lincoln Park, and he walked here. He told me he walked here. I looked down and said, "You walked from Newport." That's when he gave me the script. So he's been out looking for work. We're asking for costs and fines in this particular matter.
Did you wear a coat?
No, that's what I wore. I know, I figured I had to be here, so I didn't want to be here.
Right, but I mean, it was 31 degrees this morning. You didn't wear a coat walking?
No, I'm used to it. I'm used to walking.
And so what area of Lincoln Park did you walk from?
Dix and Moran,
And what time did you leave this morning?
7:30.
Would it take an hour to walk here?
An hour and a half. Hour 45 minutes maybe.
And then how are you getting back?
Well, I'm probably gonna walk back. My mom's at work right now, so that'd be my only transportation.
And why are you not working?
I got fired and that's all.
Why did you get fired?
Lack of attendance.
And where were you driving on this date, sir? Why were you driving?
My friend had like a couple drinks So I told him I was just drive. I didn't want us to get in any trouble or injure anybody. So I told him I'd drive.
Well,
We were going home at the time. We just left our friend's house.
that's admirable with the reasons why you didn't want him to drive. Then somebody should have ordered an Uber, a Lyft, called a friend.
Yes, I understand that.
And why is your license suspended? Or you don't even have a license?
He's never acquired one.
And why have you never acquired one?
Back in 2018, I lost all my social security and birth certificate, so it took me a long time to get it back. Because they wanted proof of who I was.
Right. Well, now you have that because
Yes. I
you're
got
working.
ID, yeah.
So why haven't you gone to do that? I mean, you've been off work for 2 months. What have you been doing? Nothing. Not doing anything to get your
Well,
license.
No, yeah, no, I've been trying to save some money. I knew I would have some fine to get paid.
How are you saving money if you're not working?
I don't know.
Well, you made that comment, so I'd like to know if you're not working, how are you saving money?
Usually do my mom usually gives me money, or my aunt. But I do have an interview on Friday at Cisco's.
And where is Cisco in relation to, where you're living with your aunt?
I'm gonna be moving back into my mom's house. It'll be closer to the job, like.
And you're sure you did not drive here?
Yes, I'm sure.
And when you go back and forth to work, what car do you drive?
My mom was probably driving to work. Or
When you were driving back and forth to work, what car were you driving?
It wasn't me, it was my friend's car. His dad, her boyfriend, her girlfriend, and his girlfriend's dad used to take us to work.
Okay,
That's how we would get back and forth to work.
all right. Court's going to order a $200 fine, $200 cost, crime victim assessment fee of $75, justice system assessment fee of $50, total of $525. And sir, you're not working, so what are you proposing for a payment plan?
The 8th of this month,
How much can you pay though each month? You're not working.
maybe $100 a month, maybe.
Your Honor, maybe we could make it $50 a month, starting on the 8th of 15th of November. This way, by that time, you indicate he does have at least an interview and would be able to hopefully have some sort of employment.
Okay, well, the 17th is a Friday that week, so I will indicate the 17th.
Okay.
$50 per month beginning November 17th, the 17th of every month thereafter. Sir, if something happens and you're not able to make that $50 payment, you need to communicate into the court via email or what have you. Okay? Don't just blow us off because then you'll have a warrant issue without having.
Yeah, I
And
know.
if you email in, right, or call it, email is definitely the easier way to get access and responses. People talk a lot less in email. So, when you do that, sir, we can work with you. If you don't, we can't.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
All right.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Have a good day. Have a good day.
You too.